On Tuesday, July 16, 2019, the Create a Sim story mode was launched. This new feature asks questions and helps to create a sim based on your answers. I'm really curious what you all will think of this when you see how many factors come into play answering these questions. It's pretty crazy. I would say to some extent it's pretty deep. My initial results were a bit mixed, so let's see if we can make sense of how this works with a good visual example. We'll also look at the new building cheat available to players in the same patch. So you start a sim, and when you do, you're asked if you want to create the sim's story. If you pick no, you'll be taken to regular Create a Sim. Note the cool shadow effect in the background, kind of gives the impression new sims are being made. While I work on making the sim and explaining things, I'm going to keep a tally on the screen here so you can see how my answers impact score and if what we get in the end makes sense based on my answers. It's hard to both read and pay attention, I know, so you can go back and watch this section again if you find it easier to follow along. So the way the system works is, as you answer questions, a scoring system is keeping track in the background. The trait, aspiration, career, skill, and money-related questions are totaled, and the highest values are the ones that apply to your sim. So deciphering the system and which answer points to what is not hard, but really time-consuming. There are 50 questions for the base game alone, and many packs have at minimum 5 questions related to them, so over 100 questions total, or about 300 answers all in their own files. You'll be asked either 10 base game questions or 4 from the base and 6 from packs if you have 2 or more packs installed. You can reroll a question if you don't like the traits the answer would probably put on you, but you do have to answer a total 10 questions regardless. Every question has A, B, or C answers, and each of them connect to traits, aspirations, skills, and wealth. Many of them contribute multiple scores. For example, a question about family with a positive response could lead to both the family-oriented trait and an aspiration from the family category. Complicating things to some degree is questions can also contribute negative scores, like if you select hit the gym in one question, you'll gain points toward active but lose points toward lazy. So essentially, your sim will roll with the traits, aspiration, and financial state that have the highest scores based upon your answers. On starting funds, the standard is 20k and it can only go higher. Medium is 25 and high is 30,000. I wish it could go lower as well. Some players start with no money and make it, so knocking off 10k is doable. Because you're able to choose a new question, it's entirely possible to game the system a little bit. Try to get questions with answers that point toward traits you want. Why would you want to do this? Well, I know when this was announced, the immediate request from the community was to be able to modify the result. Picking traits and aspirations is something we've always been able to do, so there's nothing special about that. And a player could just use regular Create a Sim, right? But a major caveat is that starting skills, career, and funds are not something we have the ability to pick. So in essence, a part of the community is excited to get to customize the starting conditions. Maxis and EA are on the right track here, but should allow us to change it up if we don't like it. You may be able to get a sim similar to what you want by answering carefully, but you could never think of all the factors that might appear here, and it's just too much work to reference from a table. We somehow get writing and gardening despite logic being in the lead. Foodie is ignored and replaced by lazy at +1. We could have had any of 3 different aspirations. Look what happens with ties. It's probably picking randomly. Some skills and traits may be weighted more importantly than others as well, so I'm not sure what's going on. Why is logic passed over for gardening and writing when it has a higher score? There's something under the hood making the decisions. I'm just not entirely sure about them. This is not a bad system at all. I just don't yet entirely understand it and don't think I ever will. From here, you can change their gender or modify clothing. Looking at the Sims outfits, I want to mention an idea I've had for a while. I wish they'd use highly rated gallery Sims that do not use CC to design the outfits Sims wear instead of this random stuff. You could let players sort of dress the Sims in that way. That would be amazing to have new Sims in random townies stop dressing like they stole from a Goodwill donation bin and were the best stuff they could find. Anyway, on to the new cheat. First, to use this, you'll need to hit Control-Shift-C, type testing cheats on. Then type bb.showHiddenObjects. And finally, use the new cheat, bb.showLiveEditObjects. This is the new cheat, but all three are required for this to work. From here, you can get to the items by searching for debug or any other normally hidden item. They stay separate as the catalog gets really cluttered with these. This lets you place items usually used as scenery, and builders have wanted them for a long time. I put up this sign and I'm really happy to see it still shows in the map. Let's see if I can turn it around. Ah, awesome. Now what about giving my sim a car next door? Yeah, baby. A nice white sports car. Can we make this bigger? Oh yeah, we can. And now that's The Sims, people. Big house-sized car next door, and it's visible on the map. I love it. Although I'll probably not play as Fall at all. There are over 1,000 objects if you have all the packs, and this can be filtered by pack as well if you like. A lot of people are really happy about this because it's going to do a lot to help them customize the look of homes. Not just homes, lots of lots. None of these can be interacted with, they don't add decoration bonuses, they're entirely cosmetic, but the possibilities for unique builds has exploded thanks to this. We've really come a long way in a short time given the terrain tools and now this. On guide updates, I'm still not done with Island Living. 3 weeks after release, the gardening page and lot traits need fixed soon, and I plan to do a video on lot traits as well to instruct newbies on it. Alright, thank you for checking out my super nerdy explanation of the cast story system and watching me mess around with the build stuff. I probably should do more fun videos down the road. Have a nice day, everyone.